Hi, good morning. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I finally got this thing working. All right, so happy Monday. Good morning, and this is going to lead us into the 14-day reset. And so whenever I give you something to do, you don't have to do it that day. So everything that I upload today doesn't have to be done today. You have about 24 hours. So sometime tomorrow evening, after I post tomorrow's stuff, then I'll go back and look at today. So don't feel rushed. Know that you guys have a good 24 hours. If something comes up, just reach out, be like, hey, I'm not going to do this today, but because I have this and this and this. And if it's not like a consistent thing, if you really are working hard to complete the full challenge and something comes up, I'm not gonna count it against you. Okay, so just do your best and know that once the stuff is uploaded, you have a good 24 hours to complete it. With the 7-day kickstart, there's no prizes. There wasn't anything. You guys did get points just for staying on task, and you got 1 point for everything that you did in the 7-day kickstart before we started today. And so we didn't have anything Saturday. We didn't have anything Sunday. It was Mother's Day weekend. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. And that was just a really good opportunity for you to catch up if you missed anything during the week. The 7-day kickstart is going to run every single month. So we'll run it again at the beginning of June, and you'll have all of your stuff, all of your metrics, everything that you did from this month that'll carry over month to month. It's a free program, and it just kind of holds you accountable to your goals. Okay, so it's just 7 days, a way for you to check in and do those assessments and learn information. You have a trainer at your fingertips. So if you go through the 7-day kickstart at the beginning of every single month and you learn a little bit more, maybe you change a little bit more, you tweak some things, but you have your metrics from month to month to hold you accountable. So that's the way that the 7-day kickstart is designed. And normally on day 6 and 7, we do recovery, and then we do our moving forward. And I put some stuff on there about recovery, but since this month, the 7-day kickstart was mostly informational, we didn't really work out or anything. We didn't do like any kind of recovery workout. There was a yoga, like some sun sals and stuff that offers really good stretching for in the morning. That was on there, but I kind of let you guys go throughout the weekend so that you can play catch up. But then also the last day moving forward in the 7-day kickstart is an opportunity for me to help you figure out how you're going to spend the rest of the month, or what you're going to do now that the 7-day kickstart is over. Since we're continuing together with the 14-day Get Fit, we just kind of left that alone yesterday, because I'm actually going to help you moving forward with the workouts and with the accountability, making sure that you're logging your food and all of that. So are you guys ready? We're going to go through the 7-day kickstart step by step. I can't answer any questions because there's not anybody on live with me right now. But as I'm going through this, if you watch it, if you have any questions, if something's not making sense, always send me a message, let me know. And it may be something that when I do the recap video next month, it could be something that I can add to the program. Maybe if you're like, hey, this wasn't really necessary, maybe you should think about taking this out, or maybe you should think about adding this. Give me feedback. Let's talk through this together, because I definitely want it to be something that you're able to grow with month to month. I'll stop talking. Let's start reviewing. Okay. All right. So whenever you come onto the app, I know that I have to get it like super close for you guys to see. But in the 7-day kickstart, you'll always find it under fitness. So this is on the app, but it's pretty much set up the same way on the desktop. So if you don't use the app, I think the app is a lot more effective because you get notifications. So whereas the desktop, you'll get emails. When you use the app, you'll get emails as well as phone notifications. Okay. So I always encourage people to use the app. In the fitness programs, why can I not find it? There it is. Okay, there's my 7-day kickstart. I'm going to click on it, and we're going to go straight to steps. So day 1 is get motivated. And this is whenever you had to think about your life. It could be a week from now. It could be 6 months from now. It could be 5 years from now. It's up to you. Okay. But you think about your ideal life. If you're almost there, if there's only a few things that you think that you're missing or you think that you need work on, maybe your goal is 6 months from now, whereas someone else, maybe they have a bigger picture in mind, and maybe they're not as close to reaching their perfect life or their ideal life. They're just not there yet. So maybe your letter takes place 5 years from now. Individual to everyone. But almost think about, you wake up in the morning, what type of house do you live in? What does it look like? What does it smell like? When you go and you take a shower, do you take a shower? Do you take a bath? Maybe you do it in the morning or maybe you do it at night, but you have to think about every single small detail of your ideal life. Think about it. And then when you write your letter, right now, if you're really, really close to living that ideal life, again, it may not be as in depth, but if you are, 5 years away from that goal, think about all the things that you had to accomplish from now till then. Maybe it's a financial goal. Maybe it's a relationship goal. Maybe it's right now, this is predominantly health and fitness, which in my opinion, health and fitness isn't just what you eat and exercising. It's how we are in relationships with other people. It's an emotional well-being. Are we stressed? Are we feeling successful? All of those play a huge part into your overall wellness, not just diet and exercise. So think about all the things, all the aspects, and write yourself a letter. I always encourage people, sometimes some people are easily held accountable when they tell people what they're working on, or when they do groups like this. But there are also people that work better in silence. Maybe you don't want to tell anybody your goals, or you don't want to be as transparent, and that's okay if that works for you. Write your letter, keep it to yourself. If you feel like you are one of those people that needs to put it out in the universe for it to happen, then send me an email, write an email, send the letter, and just send it to me. Who knows? Maybe 5 years from now, I'll be able to email it back to you, and you can use that as kind of a guide. Are we maintaining our goals, or has it been 4 years and we've fallen off? So on that day one motivation, that's kind of what we want to do. We want to get our mindset right. We want to think about how hard it's going to be, because anytime you're making lifestyle changes, anytime you're moving towards a big goal, it's not going to be easy. So the more you mentally prepare and you know what to expect, the greater chance of you being successful. So don't expect it to be super easy. We're going to prepare as best as we can, but it's definitely going to be hard. So fixed or growth mindset, you have that little quiz on there. And the whole reason is if we have a fixed mindset, if we are set in our ways, we're never going to reach our goals. But if you can create a growth mindset to whereas where I am now is not where I'm like stuck. Okay. Our growth mindset allows us to change. It allows us to change our diet and change our habits because we know we're getting something out of it. So that's the biggest thing. The quiz really just kind of gives you an indication of where you are, although you probably don't really have to take a quiz to figure that one out. Okay. And then these mindset videos, for me personally, whenever I'm really just needing a pick me up, it may not be something that I carry on for a year straight consistently every single day. But if I need just a quick pick me up, I may take a week and I'll go in and I'll find some, motivational videos, some TED Talks, some different things from speakers. And sometimes it doesn't have to be something so boring as the TED Talks. I feel like they're very educational, but sometimes they may not pump you up. But if you go to Fearless Motivation, go to their YouTube videos. It's got some really good high energy music in the background with a lot of motivational quotes and stuff. If that's something that helps you, go into your calendar and take that YouTube video and plug it into your alarm Monday morning at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. whatever time you need it. It could be at 12 at lunchtime. And then take the next one and plug it in Tuesday. And you can set up your own little motivational cues throughout the week by taking little videos, maybe taking songs and plugging them into your calendar with an alarm set. When that alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and you're sitting there doing your makeup, then you can watch that video or listen to that song or listen to that motivational speech. And sometimes you just do it consistently for 3 or 4 days, maybe a full week. You don't have to carry it on forever, but doing those little things can help you stay motivated and keep your mindset right as you move forward through the week or through whatever challenge that you're going through. All right, day 2 is always assessment day. So we get our mind right. We kind of, just get motivated. We're there. And then we get to assessment day. Okay. Some people hate this day. Some people love it. Okay. If you are doing it month to month and you get to assessment day and you're having really, really good progress, you're going to love this day. If you get to this day and your numbers aren't exactly where you want them to be, they're not exactly what you were expecting, that's okay. We don't like that day, but it always brings us back to awareness of where we need to be in comparison to where we are right now. Okay. So the next day is nutrition. And this is the biggest, this is the longest, and this is the one that most people struggle with, right? So on day 3, nutrition, there was a little video there. I know I was having some issues with some of the videos. There we go. But it's okay. That's why I wanted to do this recap video, because I know sometimes people have issues. We have technical difficulties. Sometimes things don't load and this and that. So it kind of just gives me a chance to reconnect with you guys and make sure you're getting all the information. Any of the videos that didn't load, if there were any pages that were blank, that's where I put a video. The video didn't load for whatever reason, but it was just one of those motivational videos. So you didn't miss any information. It was just a little pick me up at the beginning of the day. But you guys can totally go and find your own motivational videos, whatever works for you. Again, Fearless Motivation is one of my favorite, or just TED Talks, different YouTube videos. So introduction to nutrition, I went through here, simple rules to follow. Take your time. If you try to make drastic changes overnight, you are less likely to maintain these changes. Typo. Long term. Start small and make gradual changes over time. So the big idea here is, if you join this reset thinking, hey, in 7 days, I'm going to get through this 7-day kickstart, and then in 14 days, I'm going to be looking fit, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, and I'm going to have a completely new lifestyle. Wrong. Whenever I went through my big lifestyle journey, and I'm still on it consistently, my weight fluctuates a lot. So if I'm not paying really close attention, I'll gain a lot of weight. And then it doesn't take me long to realize it. Things start fitting differently. You start feeling different. Soon as that little trigger goes off, then I know I need to kind of gear it back in, and I'll go full force. But our health and fitness journey is a lifelong journey. You can't expect things to change overnight. That's why I always say, let's pick one thing that we're going to get rid of. Let's pick one thing that we're going to add. We're not going to make crazy changes in 21 days. But if we do 21 days in May, and then we do 21 days in June, and then we do 21 days in July, and you make small changes each time you do that. Each time you do that every month, you make small changes. Then before you know it, a year from now, you'll have a completely different lifestyle, and you'll never feel like you really had to struggle to get to that point. Okay. So limit and avoid everything that I love. Fast food, soda, chips, donuts, cookies, cakes, sugary drinks, alcohol, high carbs, breads, cream-based sauces, and dressings. Okay. And this is just a general list. A lot of things, a lot of big items that people mainly consume fall underneath one of these categories. Okay. So not limited to. Use your better judgment, but basically the general rule is, if it tastes good, it's probably not good for you. And hopefully, if you continue to do these challenges, you'll learn a lot of good recipes and a lot of really healthy ways to eat that it doesn't feel like you're really missing out on anything. Okay. So let's think of adding more. And the reason I always add this is because when you think of your diet and when you think of nutrition, a lot of the times, again, people are different, but majority of the time, people are not successful because they feel like they're limiting themselves. They feel like, and you are, but the mindset, again, number one, mindset is everything. So these people are telling themselves subconsciously that they're not getting something, right? So I can't have that hot dog, or I can't have that soda. And it just sets this whole negative tone inside your head because you're focused on what you can't have. I can't have this. I'm on a diet. I can't have this. It's all negative, and then you're going to have kind of resentment towards your health journey. You're going to feel neglected. And then it just makes you want those fast food items even more. All right. So this is why I always add my, I just lost it. There it is. Think of adding more green and leafy vegetables. Think of adding more water, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans. I can't read backwards. Fiber. I did it again. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just exit out of the whole thing. And let me get back to it. Sorry. All right, back to our introduction. Okay, so beans, fiber, and then whole natural foods. So I put that on there because instead of waking up in the morning and be like, I can't have that, or I can't have that. Okay, now we're on a mission. We wake up in the morning. Goal for today is I want to drink as much water as I possibly can. Let's start glugging. Glug, 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 glug. We're going to add lemon water. And there's so many tips and there's so many things that I can tell you, but we want to make it as simple as possible. Okay. And then month to month, master one thing. And then the next month, we'll add the next layer. We'll add the next thing. We'll add the next thing. I like to keep it as simple as possible because when you make it hard, when you make it super, super, super hard, and you probably will, as you master one thing, you'll want to take it to a step further. But for now, we're waking up in the morning. We want to drink water. Yes, warm lemon water is the best way to go. Helps your digestion, but just focus on drinking water instead of that Coke. Okay. So we wake up in the morning, we're going to drink water. If you're doing any kind of intermittent fasting or anything like that, then your goal, which is something that I promote highly, but then your goal is water, maybe black coffee, and holding out that fast. If that's not something that you practice, then your goal is, okay, well, what is the healthiest breakfast I can eat? Water, 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 water. What is the healthiest lunch I can eat? Water, 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 water. But you don't ever want to you don't ever want to go with your mindset to, I can't have pizza for lunch. I can't have this. It should be a mission that you're choosing water because that's part of your mission, not because you can't have Coke, but because your mission today is to drink as much water as possible. Okay. Not to avoid the Coke, but this is our goal, water. Our goal isn't to avoid donuts. Subconsciously it is, but mindset, I'm not choosing donuts today because my goal is to get in as much fiber as possible. So I'm going to look for fruits and vegetables and those things on my list. When it's breakfast time, how can I get more of this? More of this. I'm not even paying attention to you. I want more of this. All right, it's lunchtime. I'm drinking water. I want water. No, my goal is this today. You look good. I might eat you later, but this is my goal. And so the more you just focus on your goal and not what you can't have, again, the more successful that you're going to be. And it's such a mindset thing. It's such a mental thing. And that's what people have the hardest time wrapping their mind around that it's a mental thing. All right. I've got this little not really a diagram. It's more like a little picture I made. But one of my favorite tips is shop the walls. So it says shop the walls, produce, meat, dairy, bakery, and frozen foods. Okay. So if you look at my little map, it looks like the edge of, and then if you imagine this is the center aisles of the grocery store. I had center aisles, but I blocked them out with this. Okay. So we come around, and as soon as you walk in the grocery store, you go to the produce, you have the bakery, you have all of the stuff. And these are going to be your fresh, whole foods. right? Frozen foods. Cans have a lot of preservatives. That's when we have a lot of our processed stuff. But if it has to be refrigerated, if it has to be frozen, it's probably fresh, whole, good food. And that's what we put in here is whole natural foods, right? The more natural stuff without preservatives, the better, because it's not just about losing weight and making physical changes. We also want inside our body to be running properly, and make sure that we're focusing on everything. Overall wellness. All right, so then next thing I have is macro tracking. This is just a way of you being aware of what you're putting into your body, okay? I personally don't macro track unless I'm trying to lose weight. So when I fluctuate, I just live happy, and then I start gaining weight, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling the same. My clothes are looking different. So I need to get back on, paying attention to everything. A lot of the problem with people just maintaining consistency is just that we fall off. It's not that we can't do it. It's just that life takes a hold of us, and we get to a point, and then what makes it a lifelong change, or what makes you carry this on for forever, for your life, and it not just be a little fad, is being able to get back on the horse, right? So we fall off, we get back on the horse. That's when I use macro tracking. Okay. So that's just whenever you log your calories, your protein, your fats, and your carbs. I never do this mentally. I always use MyFitnessPal. You download it. It has a barcode scanner. So anything that you cook, whenever I cook, I just scan all the ingredients, and then you can put how much. You can program meals. So say once you program spaghetti, you eat spaghetti, you track everything, program that meal spaghetti, and then the next time you cook it, you don't have to rescan everything. You already have that meal programmed. So in the beginning, it can be a lot of work, but then once you get it good and set up with your normal meals and the normal things that you eat, even when you go out to dinner, say like you go out to eat, a lot of chain restaurants and fast food places also have the macro thing in there. So you say, the positive thing with macro tracking is you've been tracking all day long. You've been eating healthy. Everything looks good. It's dinner time. You go out with your friends and you really want that chocolate cake, right? So now you're going to look for that chocolate cake. You're going to enter it into your app. And if it goes over your macros, you can't have it. But if you can track that cake and you can keep it within your macros, it doesn't go over your protein. It doesn't go over your fat or your carb intake for that day. If you can keep everything within your macros, then you can have it, right? So it's really good for people that are really trying to hone in. So anyways, weekly meal plan. This is just a sample meal plan. I personally don't follow meal plans. I don't like meal plans, but I'll give you a sample weekly meal plan because some people don't know how to eat and they don't know how to choose meals properly. So that's why I have that in there. And then this is intermittent fasting. So this is just my story with intermittent fasting. I highly recommend, if you think about intermittent fasting, to Google it, research it. Any of these diets, please research, talk to your doctor. Don't just listen to me. I'm giving you information. These are some of the most common and most popular diets that people follow. And so I just want to kind of relay some of that information. But if you're interested in any of these, I highly recommend you talk to your doctor and you do your own research to make sure that it's a good fit for you. Okay. Intermittent fasting was a really good fit for me. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I do have my story where I kind of talk through my personal story with intermittent fasting. And then that's the just kind of, it's the same thing. It's just the article about it. But intermittent fasting is basically where you go for a period of time without eating. You have to get the same amount of calories that you would in in a normal day within 8 hours. So it's not really impossible when you think about it. You can eat from 9 to 4. You can eat from, or I guess 8 to 4, 9 to 5, 1 to 8. A lot of people don't eat breakfast anyways. So intermittent fasting is just taking like a little window of time. People usually go 8 hours, 6 hours, or 4 hours, which is pretty extreme. There's also another fast where it's 5 and 2. So you eat normal for 5 days, and then you take 2 non-consecutive days throughout the week, and you fast completely. And it does a lot of things for just kind of resetting the digestive system, regulating your hormones, and a lot of people have found to gain, or not gain weight loss, but have a lot of success losing weight. I personally love intermittent fasting, and it is something that I do on a regular. All right, so then we have basics of a keto diet. This is one that we hear a lot about. This is when we have high fats, moderate protein, and low carb, okay? So high fat, moderate protein, low carb. You have bacon, avocado, cheese, eggs, meat, so fish and eggs and steak and chicken, and then fruits and vegetables and some grains at the top. Okay. If you want to learn more about a keto, I just kind of give you an idea of the difference in it. But if you're interested in any of these, do your own research. This is just a blueprint to give you something to think about or something to learn about. All right, so then we have a paleo. This is high protein, moderate greens and vegetables, and then low fruits and berries. So I'm putting it into a food pyramid so you can get the idea of how the diet is built. All right, and then we just did our paleo, and then a plant-based. This is what I follow, and it is high fiber greens, vegetables, and fruits. So majority of what you eat is plant-based, okay, at the bottom. Protein, such as beans and nuts. Now, they have a lot of meat substitutes. You can follow a plant-based diet and then still just get in like a little bit of chicken, fish, meat, here and there in this thing, but they do make really good alternatives and plant-based substitutes for meat. But we want to focus on proteins such as beans and nuts in this area. And then up at the top, low meat and dairy. So really no meat and dairy again. A real plant-based diet would use almond milk, yogurt, and other alternatives such as that. So just a couple of different ways that you can get a good whole diet. And then the reason I put different things on here and I'm not promoting one specific or one particular diet is because think of it as like medicine. Tylenol may work better for me, but Advil may work better for you. Our bodies are different. Our genetics are different. And the way that our bodies run and operate are different. So a lot of people can do these different diets and they get different results. So I put the information out there for you. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Anytime that you make a lifestyle change that focuses on exercise, water, and whole nutrition, you're going to see changes in your body. Consistency is everything. So if one of these works better for you than the other, by all means, go for it. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just giving you the information of what works best for most people. Okay. Day 4 is strength. And so you have this little strength training PDF that you can download and keep. And I'm going to go through it. So when we think of strength, we're thinking of our muscles, legs, core, chest, back, shoulder, biceps, and triceps. Okay. So those are our big muscle groups when we think of strength training. We're going to be strength training our legs. We'll work our hamstrings, which is the muscle behind your leg, so on the back of the leg. Your quadricep, this big one right here in the front from your knee to your hip. And then your calves, so the lower part of your leg. The calves are the back. And then for core, we have our glutes, okay? Our hips, our abs, so the whole abdominal section, and then your chest and your back. So when you think of your core, think of anything from your neck to your hips, front and back, everything but the appendages. That's your core. All right. So I've got like these little quotations here, and it says, if you're thinking or you're saying, I want to get toned. So I just want to get toned. I just want to kind of look toned. Okay. So then the type of strength training that you want to do is high reps. So a lot of reps, but really low resistant. Think of time under tension. So I have 5-pound weights, and I'm probably going to do about 20 sets of these. Okay. If you're thinking, I want to bulk and build muscle aesthetically. So you think, I want to look like a bodybuilder. I want big muscles. And this is usually where our men fall in line. Okay. You want high resistance and low reps. So this is when you get that big bar and you put a bunch of weight on, and you're going to give me 3 squats with like 300 pounds, right? You're not doing very many, but geez, those few that you do have a lot of weight. And that's what's going to make you really build a lot of muscle mass. Okay. So high resistance, a lot of weight, but you're not doing very many reps. And if you're thinking, I just want to get stronger, then you're going to do a mix. You'll do some high reps. Okay. So we want to get toned. We want to build that muscular endurance. The reason this is making us stronger is because it's allowing our muscle to work for a longer period of time, right? So you have those weights and they don't weigh a lot, and it's going to get you toned, but it's also getting you stronger because your muscle is going to be able to work for a long period of time, okay? But then we also want to add some weight, and we also want to really work on muscle strength and building muscle mass and being able to work through high loads. So being strong is not just being able to lift a lot of weight, but we also want to be able to do it for a little bit longer period of time, create that muscular endurance. So if you want to get strong, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing a mix of both of those, okay? You will not get bulky unless you are trying. And I put that in there because a lot of women, they don't want to lift weights. They fight me so hard on lifting weights because they don't want to look like a man and they don't want to get all bulky. But I promise you, you will not get bulky unless you are trying to, okay? Training schedule samples. So I've got a couple of different samples on here. You have anterior and posterior, and it just says it's a split where one day you are working anterior muscles and then the other day you're working posterior. So that means on anterior muscle groups, I'm doing chest, and then on the next day, I'm doing something from the back. So this is kind of, very self-explanatory. Upper and lower, you know what your upper and your lower muscles are: upper arms, lower legs, and then strength and endurance. So maybe one day if I'm working on getting stronger, maybe one day I'm really going heavy with that bar. The next day, I'm not going to go so heavy. I'm going to do some of the similar exercises, but today I'm going to do like push-ups and do like 100 push-ups, still working the chest, just in a different way. Okay. So I've got a couple of different things for calves, a couple of different exercises you can do to build your calves, a couple of things for your hamstrings and your quads and your glutes and your core and chest and your back and your shoulders and your biceps and your triceps. And that is all of your big muscle groups. And then it goes through a couple of different types of equipment that you might use and the way that they work differently. And there's a couple of sample workouts for you. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of this as much today, only because we're going to have a lot of time throughout the 14 days in the workouts for me to kind of guide you a little bit more on strength, cardio, and recovery. So some of the workout stuff we'll pay a little bit more attention to that during the 14 days. Okay. Cardiovascular training. I'm not going to pull it up and go through the whole thing because it's basically the same thing. You have a couple of different ways that you can work your heart, and then the way that you breathe at a high heart rate is kind of what's going to be the focus here. Okay. So we have a couple of different ways that we can increase our heart rate. We can hold it, increase our heart rate and just hold it here for long periods of time. So that's going to be your cyclists, your runners. You kind of get into a pace and you're just there breathing and maintaining that for a long period of time. That is your cardiovascular endurance. Being able to work out for an hour straight. That's you building your cardiovascular endurance. The other way is being able to spike your heart rate. So we think of HIIT training, right? So sprints. I'm not going to just run at a steady pace for a long time. I'm going to run really, 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 really fast. I'm going to get my heart rate really high, and I'm going to expel a lot of energy in a really short amount of time. Okay. So this is going to be our HIIT training. This is really good as a cross training type thing for all athletes. And it is the base point of majority of the classes that we will be doing will be HIIT training. So I'm going to bring you here where it feels good. I'm going to increase your heart rate. It feels like a workout. And then for very short periods of time, we're going to increase our heart rate very, very, very high. Then we'll bring it back down. You'll kind of hold it, work on your endurance here. We'll build some strength. We'll get the heart rate up, and then we're going to burst. Okay. We're going to get that heart rate really, really high. So, this is also really good for weight loss and fat burning. So that's our cardiovascular. And then I have this heart rate calculator for you to figure out where your heart rate zones are. I'll be talking about our heart rate zones through a lot of the workouts. So it's a really good idea for you to know where your fat burning zone is and where your max heart rate is. So you can use that calculator and go ahead and calculate yours. And then again, like I told you, for day 6 and day 7, I kind of let you guys go. I put a little PDF up here for recovery and mobility, but we didn't really do anything like that because I'm about to take you through 14 days of workouts, and we'll touch on this during that. Okay. So it's okay to rest before your workout, anytime before you work out. Over the next 14 days or period. Make sure you're properly hydrated. Do not work out if you're dehydrated and you're not drinking water. Okay. Move through your joints. So anytime you start a workout, just kind of roll your neck, roll your shoulders, wrists, knees, hips, and ankles. Move through your joints. That way you are less prone to injury. And then we'll do about 5 to 10 minutes of a dynamic warm up, including dynamic stretching. So that means instead of just stretching and holding it for a minute, you're kind of moving through and increasing the heart rate. It says right there, large movements to increase the heart rate. Okay. So make sure you're doing all of this before you start your workout. And if you join me in a workout, we will add the first 5 minutes will be a warm up. Okay. So after your workout, make sure you hydrate and replenish the body within 30 minutes after your workout with electrolytes, a banana, a protein shake, just something to replenish what you just lost. Properly stretch. So we can allow some static stretching here and then also some dynamic stretching. And then take a warm Epsom salt bath or foam roll before bed. And then we'll go through the dynamic stretching and stuff like that, this challenge, but then foam rolling and then having a massage gun or some kind, maybe even just getting massages. Any type of recovery like that is something that your body needs. It's not a luxury, but it's something that will help your body just move and perform better. Okay. So yeah, that's the 7-day kickstart. That's just kind of a general idea. I went through everything. And again, it grows and builds and changes from month to month. So if there's anything else that you would like to see added to the kickstart, let me know. If you need more information on anything, let me know. And then I'll be sure to add it next month. I hope you guys continue the 14 days. And if you fall off, you will stay in this kickstart. But if you fall off on the 14 days, you'll get an email from me a few days before we start this kickstart next month. Okay. So I'll still have all of your stuff from this month. And hopefully that is the way that you'll see goals and you'll see something that was once really, really hard to tackle. You'll see yourself getting closer and closer to your goals by participating in the 7-day kickstart from month to month. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and end this here. If you have any questions, let me know. Use this time right now to go back through your 7-day kickstart. Make sure that you at least got your assessments and that you've completed everything on the checklist. There is a checklist, so you shouldn't miss anything because it lets you know if you do. Make sure you completed everything on the checklist, and then be looking out this afternoon for today's workout. It's going to be super, 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 super simple, only because it's the very first day. And I'm going to get some feedback from you guys, and then we'll kind of add intensity and make it a little more challenging, and then also explore some different types of workouts and exercises as we progress through the next 14 days. Okay. You guys have a great rest of the day. If you have any questions, send me a message or just comment on this video. Let me know and I'll address it. And good luck. We'll start giveaways this week. So I'll see you guys again soon. Bye. End.